In 2013, Anthony went on a mission trip to Kenya, and when he came home, he knew our next step as a family was to add to our family through adoption. When we first brought Jonathan home, it brought a little bit of a struggle.
I was working as part of a foster closet ministry, Families of Hope, and I saw all the children coming in, and my husband and I agreed that we could take in respite placements for weekends and emergency placements. And then we met Bailey, and she stayed. And then we met her brother, and he joined us. He was 2 years old at the time. He had had some previous experiences that made his transition to us difficult for him.
We were first introduced to TBRI, Trust-Based Relational Intervention, through Dr. Karen Purvis's book, The Connected Child, and it really opened our eyes to how trauma affects the brain and what our son was going to need, but then also how to be a better parent for our biological daughter.
I was fortunate to go to a TBRI training in 2015 with Dr. Karen Purvis, and it changed the way I parent as an adoptive parent, and it changed the way I work with families and educate families, just because it gave me a better knowledge of how trauma impacts children, and how we can parent differently in order to empower them and to help them find healing.
So when we first became parents, I read Bringing Up Girls, and I read Parenting the Strong-Willed Child, and I read probably 20 books on how to parent a difficult child. It's a big difference between reading it and doing it and seeing someone do it. He's refusing to eat his food. He's throwing his plate. How do you actually get that child to stop throwing their food and to eat? The actual hands-on application to getting him to sit at the table. We had no understanding of trauma, attachment, TBRI. We spent a lot of time disciplining. We spent a lot of time trying to come up with new and creative consequences. We came up with some really bizarre things to try and get her to behave and to sit still.
TBRI is different in the aspect that you are connecting with your child each moment. Every time you correct, you connect. We have used the same technique with both of our children and have seen a major improvement in our relationships, just growing with them.
With the TBRI strategies, it was more of a focus on calming the situation so we could quickly calm and then move on to the next thing. And it definitely brought a new atmosphere to the home, that we were more focused on keeping things calm, peaceful, keeping people regulated, seeking what everyone's needs were so that we could sit and enjoy a meal without shouting, or we could go to the park without having to pull screaming kids off equipment and dragging them to the car. And we also know what to expect, what triggers to look for, so we can diffuse it before it starts. So it's definitely brought a more calming atmosphere to the home. Several of my friends are adoptive families. It seems that adoptive families and foster families attract one another. And I encourage everyone to seek out TBRI training. It's also why my husband and I are so involved with Flourishing Families and support it, is because we know what it's done for us. We know the importance of it, and there's a lot to be said out there as far as how you should parent. A lot of books, Christian parenting books, there's lots of parenting books out there, but there's a completely different way to parent kids with trauma and attachment, and TBRI focuses on those specific needs.
Flourishing Families and the coaching aspect of the in-home coaching took it to a whole nother level. It tailored everything that we had learned through books, through classes, through the caregiver training. It took all of that and tailored it to Jonathan, to our family, to us.
I think that what Flourishing Families is going to offer adoptive families in South Carolina is something that no one else is offering currently. I see so many families who are struggling after they bring their child home, having a difficult time finding the support and education and resources that they need, and to have an organization to come along beside them and to educate and support and to give them desperately needed tools is going to benefit adoptive families here so much.